Well, good afternoon and welcome to BBRC Britain and English. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. Well, you may realise that at the weekend we had the sudden death on Friday of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. So I'd just like to spend a little bit of time remembering Prince Philip and giving thanks for his life. Philip served in the military, in the navy, and also he served the Queen for 73 years, which I think is a record. Some of the papers paid tribute to Philip. Of course, we're still in the pandemic as well. There we are, that's the paper, the Metro from Monday, which was yesterday. And the politicians paid tribute yesterday as well. He's even developed and designed his own Land Rover. There we are, that's going to be his hearse. He was very good at engineering, so no end to Prince Philip's talent. And there he is there with Her Majesty there. There we are, so a few page spreads there, and we look at today's, the 11th of April. We have a lovely photograph with Prince George here, great grandson. Prince Philip there. There are large spreads and articles, as there was all through the weekend. There will be all this week probably, about Prince Philip's life and service up to the day of the funeral, which is on Saturday at 3 o'clock. I do hope you'll have time to think about Prince Philip and his service and all the charity work he did in different countries, and do join him for the funeral at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Just to say, well, I've got a card all ready to post to Her Majesty, a bereavement card, a sympathy card. We call it a sympathy card there. So I'm going to post first class stamp on it. We thank you for the life of Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Well, today, as promised, I did say I'd look at euphemisms and metaphors, so I'll crack on straight away to a few euphemisms. And I know a few people were asking me for more euphemisms after I gave a few when I was talking about colloquialisms, etc., idioms and everything else a few weeks ago. So here's a few euphemisms to add to the list, a few more which you might see used in this country or in everyday English. And certainly it's to make things seem less harsh, we say less harsh, than it perhaps would be if we'd have been more direct. But I must say though, Prince Philip, well, he's a man that didn't really like euphemisms. He's more direct. Well, there we are. Kicking off then, I'll crack on. A bit worse for wear. Well, that means drunk normally. Thin on top. Bold. Bold in here. Adult material or content? Well, usually pornography. Or it may be sexually explicit in some way. Adult entertainment. Armed intervention. Military attack. Be economical with the truth. That means you tell a lie, or some people might say tell a white lie. But nevertheless, it's not totally honest. Made redundant. Well, that's lose your job, or you're seeking employment. Between jobs also. You're looking for a job, perhaps seeking employment, so you're out of work at the moment. Break wind. Well, that's fart or burp, belch. Flatulence, in other words. Quite rude. Woman of the night. That's prostitute. And pass away or pass on is to die. Not suffer fools gladly. Well, that means you could be a bit rude or flippant, perhaps a bit blunt when people give an answer which you're perhaps not happy with, or you perhaps think it's not serious, or you're not happy with what they have to say. So, or sometimes we say it when we see a job being done badly. Don't suffer fools gladly, and people complain about it, but normally it's to do with spoken word, but it can be to do with an action as well. Ethnic cleansing, genocide. Leatherette. Well, you sometimes see that written on something which is proportioned to be leather, but sometimes it's not leather. Leatherette is plastic. It's man-made or synthetic material, so it's not the real thing. So don't be fooled. Lost is marbles. Well, that means you've got forgetful, sometimes used derogatorily, really. Alzheimer's, referring to Alzheimer's or dementia. On the street, well, that's homeless. Terminated pregnancy, that's an abortion. And couch potato, sometimes used with young people, it means lazy. Some metaphors now. Some examples of metaphors. Laughter is the music of the soul. London is a melting pot. The sound of her voice is music to his ears. The world is a stage. Life is a roller coaster. He's got verbal diarrhea. Answering a call of nature. There's a few examples there. And as I say, if you want to look up on the internet for more, you can do. And I'll give you time to, perhaps if you want to ask any questions, you can do. And next week we'll look at some spelling differentiation and perhaps where spelling is wrong. And I do hope you'll join me. And I do hope you enjoyed the session. And we do, at this time, during this week of mourning, remember Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Thank you very much.